In Congress, July 4, 1776, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such forms as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. He has refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance, unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained, and when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend to them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people, unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasions on the rights of the people. He has refused for a long time after such dissolutions to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative powers, incapable of annihilation, have returned to the people at large for their exercise, the state remaining in the meantime exposed to all the dangers of invasion from without and convulsions within. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states, for that purpose obstructing the laws of naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migrations hither, and raising the conditions of new appropriations of lands. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amount and payment of their salaries. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislators. He has affected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power. He has combined with others to subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretended legislation, for quartering large bodies of armed troops among us, for protecting them by a mock trial from punishment for any murders which they should commit on the inhabitants of these states, for cutting off our trade with all parts of the world, for imposing taxes on us without our consent, for depriving us in many cases of the benefits of trial by jury, for transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offences, for abolishing the free system of English laws in a neighbouring province, establishing therein an arbitrary government, and enlarging its boundaries so as to render it at once an example and fit instrument for introducing the same absolute rule into these colonies, for taking away our charters, abolishing our most valuable laws, and altering fundamentally the forms of our governments, for suspending our own legislators and declaring themselves invested with power to legislate for us in all cases whatsoever. He has abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war against us. He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coasts, burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, desolation, and tyranny already begun with circumstances of cruelty and perfidy scarcely paralleled in the most barbarous ages, and totally unworthy the head of a civilized nation. He has constrained our fellow citizens taken captive on the high seas to bear arms against their country, to become the executioners of their friends and brethren, or to fall themselves by their hands. He has excited domestic insurrections among us, and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers, the merciless Indian savages whose known rule of warfare is an undistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes, and conditions. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince, whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant, is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. Nor have we been wanting in attention to our British brethren. We have warned them from time to time of attempts by their legislature to extend an unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have reminded them of the circumstances of our emigration and settlement here. We have appealed to their native justice and magnanimity, and we have conjured them by the ties of our common kindred to disavow these usurpations, which would inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They too have been deaf to the voice of justice and of consanguinity. We must, therefore, acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our separation and hold them, as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, in peace, friends. We, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, in General Congress, assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the name and by the authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Good morning, Facebook. Sorry for the long introduction. So this morning, we're going to talk about the newest form of tyranny. Okay? So, as you all know, I'm running for state representative. I went out, I circulated my petitions. Here's my packet. I submitted 560 signatures. They challenged 200 of them after my binder check. 120 of them came back no good. They sustained 120 of them, which left me needing 64 to get on the ballot. The Board of Elections is a whole new monster. This whole system has been designed to keep the little guys out. From the top to the bottom, from the bottom to the top. It's basically designed to where you have to hire an attorney to navigate this process, kind of like the family court system. If you don't know the process, you have to hire someone who knows the process. That's not a luxury that I can afford, nor is it a luxury that I would take part in if I could. Good morning, Jeff. I don't pay lawyers. I study. I do the research myself. Okay, so we're going to get right into it. Curran and Berlin, the cities of Curran and Berlin, villages, towns, whatever you want to call them. Their mailing addresses reside in New Berlin. When I went out and I circulated my petitions, they signed their addresses in New Berlin because that's where they're registered to vote, or that's where they live. They live in New Berlin. Well, apparently Don Gray's office, the Sangamon County Clerk, still has the people in there in Berlin and Curran. So, all of those signatures were thrown out. They were all legit signatures. I can go through the voter rolls and I can show you every single one of them. But because they wrote the wrong address, I had to go around on New Year's Day in negative 12 degrees and get these affidavits. And I had to have a notary with me because these things have to be signed in front of a notary. Thank you, Julie Soliday, for sticking out with me as long as you could. I really, really appreciate it. Without your help, I would not have gotten some of the answers that I needed from the Board of Elections to learn this process. But that being said, I have now learned the process. So, what I did was I came up 64 short. So I made a list. I went through the voter rolls. I got the voter rolls. I made a list of everybody that was on the voter rolls that I could find. Right here, this is the page number, petition page number, and the line number that they're on. So, I'm going to be doing a further extensive video on this later and kind of show you guys how to do this process. But right now, I just kind of want to get through this and tell you guys what happened so we can get on to the precinct project. Okay, so after I did my own research with these here, I came up to where I was going to be 14 signatures short of the ballot. So what I did was I took another day and a half. I went through the voter rolls. I pulled out every signature that you could not make out the name or where you could not really make out an address, and I tried to go through those and tried the best that I could to make those out. Had I had my voter rolls certified, which now I know how to certify. Okay, electronic documents. The voter rolls were sent to me electronically. I forwarded that email to the Board of Elections, to the hearing officer, to General Counsel, to everyone up there. The only answer I could get out of them was go read Rule 10 and the procedures. Well, Rule 10 is very vague as far as what they want as far as certification goes. Okay, yeah, we all know certification. You get a piece of paper, they put a stamp on it, it's certified. Okay, well, when you're dealing with today's world and electronic communications, I'm not really sure how you, yeah, I know, I'm sorry, I'm going to get a camera one of these days. I'll actually get a real camera and a tripod, and we'll actually do this for real. But for now, I'm stuck with the forward-facing camera on my phone. Okay, evidence submitted by either party will be heard by the board or the designated hearing examiner, including but not limited to documentary evidence, depositions, affidavits, and oral testimony. Documentary evidence shall be presented at a hearing. However, service of such documentary evidence may be made by facsimile or email. Any affidavit submitted must be original, and voter registrations must be certified by the election authority that issued them. So when I went to my hearing, I explained to Dave Herman that that is vague. And I asked him multiple times, how do we certify documents in that sense? The only answer I got from him or anybody else at the Board of Elections was, we can't give legal advice. Well, I got into the argument that I'm not asking for legal advice. I'm asking for procedural advice. Rule number 10 is very vague when we're dealing with electronic communications in our nowadays world. So I forwarded, the county clerk sent me the email. I forwarded that email directly to the Board of Elections, to the hearing officer, to General Counsel, as I was supposed to. But when I got to my hearing, because I didn't have this piece of paper right here to go along with my voter rolls, my voter roll was not certified. So therefore, I did not stand a chance in hell. There was nothing I could do. All the affidavits, all the work, everything that I put in was null and void because I did not have my voter roll certified. So, that being said, afterwards, I went down to the county clerk's office. I filed to run as an official write-in candidate. And I also figured out how we certify. Next time, 2019, I will be certified. I will have this in my hand, Dave Herman and John Fogarty. I will see you guys in 2 years. Well, not even 2 years, a year from now. Okay, so that being said, here is my receipts for filing as an official write-in candidate. Instructions for write-in candidacy, which I will be posting more on this later. You're going to see a lot of information coming out about write-in candidates here really soon. So basically, long story short, I could have fought this and done it had I had the certification that day with me at the hearing and presented that by that Wednesday at 5 o'clock. I would have been on the ballot. My name would have been printed on the ballot. I am 100% absolutely confident in that. However, not knowing the procedures, how do you certify? Chris Marks. So what you got to do is when the county clerk sends you the voter rolls, they're going to send it to you most likely electronically. Like mine, I asked for them to print it out, but it's 17,000 sheets long. So they couldn't print that for me. So they put it into an Excel document and they forwarded it to me. Well, what you have to do is you have to go down to the county clerk and you've got to get a letter from them stating that the email sent to me with the voter rolls was tried and true and was sent to me from the county clerk's office, yada, yada, yada. Then they'll put their little stamp on it, and you have to submit that with your voter rolls by your Rule 9 deadline. And we're going to get into all the rules and stuff later down the road next week. I'm going to try to start doing one of these for you guys next week. Sorry about the bright light up there. My halo is shining kind of bright this morning. So we're going to get into that a little bit deeper as we go along. Andy, you liked that, did you? Anyhow, so basically, long story short, they successfully got my name removed from the ballot. We have 2 Democrats running in this primary on the other side of the ticket. The Republican Party did not challenge neither one of those Democrats. So what does that really say about the Republican Party? And what does it really say about me having no chance in hell in winning this thing? Basically what they want to do is they want to clear all the candidates out of the way so that their chosen candidate has a free ride into November. So they don't have to spend any money, there's no competition. Effectively, they want to take the people's choice away from them. Because a primary election is when the people get to decide who your representatives are. Okay? And if there's only one name on that ballot, you have no choice. That candidate wins by default. We live in an R5 district where I'm at. So those 2 Democrats that are on the other side of the ticket means nothing. Whoever wins the March primary 2018 will be the next state representative for the 99th district. Because of the challenges that I face as a write-in, as far as Stephen goes, is it a V, is it a PH? Westerfield, how people, if they go in and they write Westfield, I'm off. My luck, I'm going to get enough write-in votes to win this election, but 10 of them will have wrote Westfield and I'll lose. That's my luck. It's the story of my life. That's how it works. So anyhow, that's that. I'm an official write-in candidate. We'll be going into March as a write-in candidate. Nothing's going to change. I'm still knocking on doors. I'm still holding speaking engagements. Still traveling the district. Still meeting voters. None of that's going to change. We're going to run a campaign just like our name was on the ballot. You're exactly right, Chris. It does say that the Republican Party and the Democrat Party are in bed together. And they are fighting to keep the upper hand above the people. They are tyrants. They want to take the people's choice away from them. And they're pretty good at it. I'm not going to lie. They hired the best election law attorney in the state of Illinois from Chicago to come down here and argue against me. If I would have been up against any less of an attorney, well, you know what? I'm glad that I went up against Fogarty. I really am, because I learned a lot from Fogarty's arguments back and forth. Now, I did catch him up on, I filed a motion to strike and dismiss. He filed a response, and then I filed an answer to his response. I did catch him up in his prayer for relief. Stated, the candidate prays, blah, 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 that the candidate's name be removed off the ballot. That's an invalid prayer. So therefore his response, and I didn't get that far in the arguments. I didn't want to waste any more time. Truthfully, I learned what I needed to learn and I got out of there. Now, in hindsight, I should have sat there and I should have argued it, just so I could learn that too. But it is what it is. Next time I'm going to be on the ballot. They're not going to stop me. So, brings me to our next point. That's going to be the end of ballot access for today. Brings me to our next segment of this program, which is the Precinct Project. I am going to show you guys exactly how our candidates are being selected for us. So let me figure out how to turn this camera around here. Okay. This is Sangamon County right here. Right here, Springfield. This outlined in yellow. This is Sangamon County. My district covers about half of Sangamon County. I got about half of it in my district. Here, I'll show you. Right there, the 99th. So that's my district. You can see the rest of my county resides in the 96th, then the 87th for the House, and then for the Senate, it's the 44th and the 50th. Over here you also got, no, that gets out of Sangamon. So that's where we're at on that. Okay. So, each one of these counties throughout the state has a county chair. Okay? They all have a county chair who runs the local party. They're the leader. They're the party boss for that county. So, let's look at a district real quick here. Okay, let's look at the 87th right here. Okay, so the 87th is made up of Menard County right there. It's also made up of the top of Sangamon County right there. And then we also have Logan County right here. And the border follows right there. Okay, so you see in the 87th district we have 1, 2, 3 county chairs. Okay? So when it comes time to select a candidate for the 87th district, these 3 county chairs are going to get together and they're going to talk. And see, and now it goes also by population too, so like how many voters you have in each one of your counties. So, like, here, probably, I don't know what the voter count is. I'd have to look, but with Lincoln being in there and stuff, the 87th, I would say that the majority vote is in Logan County. I'll verify that later, but Menard and Sangamon County also have stake in this. So, between these three county chairs right here, they are going to get together, and they're going to talk, and they're going to go through the candidates, and they're going to select which candidate they want to run in the 87th. Who they want to endorse. Okay? So then the party is going to go and they're going to endorse a candidate. I don't need them next time, Andy. Andy, we're going to get into this later. I don't need the county chairs. I don't need the party, bro. And nor do I need them, nor do I want them. All I need is myself and the energy to keep trucking and the voters in these districts. Because guess what, folks? Your votes really do matter. They really actually do. Because if they did not, they wouldn't be worried about threatening people to get out of these races. Okay, so the three party chairs, they come together. They choose who they're going to pick for the 87th district. Then that is the endorsed candidate. Then anybody else that's in the race, they threaten them. They say, look, you're committing a cardinal sin. You don't run against our candidate. We'll bury you if you run against our candidate. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever, yada, yada, yada. And most people, like Andy's trying to encourage me to do here, to not piss off the county chairs and the party, most people do what Andy's suggesting, and they put their tail between their legs and they walk away. Not me. That's not it. I'm not in this to become a state representative, you guys. I am in this to take back the keys to the republic and restore it to its rightful owners, which is the governed. Okay, so the people, we need to take the keys back and we need to give it to the government. Okay, so now that's going to bring me to my next part of this. So we're going to go back and we're going to look at Sangamon County again. Now, I don't have a precinct map here printed out for you, but I'm just going to draw you some little squares in here. Let me get red. All right. So little squares, little squares, okay, so Sangamon County is made up of 107 precincts. Okay, and each one of these little squares represents a different precinct. Each one of these little squares has a precinct committeeman that is elected. They're elected. You go out, you circulate petitions. It takes 10 signatures to get your name on the ballot. So you go out, you collect 20 of them. You're in there. And then I'll leave a few open because we got some vacancies. We have about 21 vacancies, if I remember correctly, right now in Sangamon County. And I bet you when it comes March time, I bet you they fill up all of those vacancies. I bet you there's not one left open. But anyhow, when they appoint somebody to a precinct, they're appointing people that live outside of that precinct to work that precinct because it has a vacancy. So, if you live inside of that precinct, you can go and you can unseat that precinct committeeman. Boot them out. They don't live there. You go collect your 10 signatures, circulate your petition, you turn it in at the county clerk's office, Don Gray's office there, and your name goes on the ballot as a precinct committeeman for your precinct. Like mine is like right in here somewhere. It's Woodside 05. And I'm going to get some precinct maps and get this blown up and on a board for you guys just like this. But anyhow, okay, so all these precincts in this county here, they vote in our county chair. Okay? So, all these precinct committeemen, they come together, they go to committee at headquarters, they sit down, they vote, everybody puts their name in the hat that wants to run for the chair, all the precinct committeemen vote. And it goes round after round after round after round until they finally get down to the end where they have successfully... Oh, next time I'm going with 1,500 signatures to be sure, Andy. I promise you that, bro. Actually, I might just be a jerk, and I might turn in 500 on the dot that I know that are written perfectly and pretty and all tied up nice and pretty in a little ribbons and bows. That way they can come back and challenge me and think, ha, we got this kid. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to school him in a hearing. But I don't know if I want to go that far yet. We'll see how I'm feeling in 2019. I might not be feeling so bad. I might just go out and get the 1,500 and do my thing. We'll see. That'll be another discussion for another day. So anyway, so then these right here, all the precinct committeemen make up the chairs. Same with Menard, same with all the other counties. All the counties in the whole state, they're made up of precincts. And your precincts is where your polling place is. That's where you go vote. They all have precinct committeemen, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so over here in Macoupin County, over here, right here, come March election, we already control 3 of those precincts. How did we do so? Well, we looked at the vacancies, we ran a couple people for the vacancies, and then we found one who filled out his paperwork wrong. He wrote the wrong day of the election. He wrote the election was November 8th of 2018. Well, there is no, he wrote, I don't even remember what he wrote. Anyhow, he wrote the wrong date for the election. The election is March 20th of 2018. So by that, his petition to get on the ballot as a precinct committeeman was invalid. We took it to the county clerk. We challenged it. We had a hearing. We successfully got him thrown off the ballot. Now, Christopher Hicks's name is the only name on the ballot for the precinct committeeman. It's too late. Well, I guess somebody could go in as a write-in against him if they wanted. They have till the 18th to get that done. But they're not going to win as a write-in. Good luck. Go ahead, because you're going to fight the same battle that I'm fighting. Anyway, okay, so now we know how the county chairs are selected in each county. We also know that the county chairs, if a district right here is made up of, the 87th district is made up of 3 county chairs, whatever. Oh, no, wait, there's 4. There's Tazewell, too. I forgot a little bit of Tazewell right there. Okay, so there's a 4th one. So this one's made up of 4, so there would actually be 4 chairs that would decide on this 87th candidate. They'll choose the candidate, they'll threaten everybody else, get them out of the race, blah, 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 blah. We'll bury you, you're committing a cardinal sin, blah, 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 blah. You wait your turn, blah, 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 blah. Well, I don't read anything in the Constitution where it states that you gotta wait a turn. That you gotta get in line and you gotta wait your turn to run for state representative. I've not read it. If any of you guys have, please point me, because I don't know. So anyway, these precinct committeemen vote in these chairs. So what I'm going to do with the precinct project is we are going to start unseating all of these precinct committeemen. We're going to take over every one of these precincts. And then we're going to vote out the county chairs. Okay, all of our precincts, we're going to take them over. They go by a 50% plus 1. No, I'm not appreciating how much I'll need the party, Andy. And they'll say I'm not loyal, etc. Sour grapes are for vinegar and vinegar does not attract. Oh well, I don't care. Andy, I am not going to ever kiss a ring. Never. I'm never going to kiss a ring, bro. I'm not doing this to be a party insider and a party elite. I'm doing this to take the keys back to the Republic and give the keys back to the people where they belong. Okay? This is a form of tyranny, Andy, and I don't know if you really realize that or not. But that's what we got going on. So what we're going to do is we're going to take over these precincts slowly but surely. We're going to get them all taken over. And we're going to vote out this county chair, and we're going to vote in one of our people. We're going to do the same in this county. We're going to do the same in this county. We're going to do the same in this county. Once we do that, we have the 4 county chairs in place. And then we abolish the rule that states that you've got to wait in line. You've got to wait your turn. you don't run against our chosen candidate. In fact, we will not be endorsing a candidate. The party will remain neutral in a thing. And in fact, we will encourage all candidates that want to run to run. I don't care if there's a 16-man primary. We will have a 16-man primary, and may the best man win. Whoever the people decide to pick in that primary election, that's the people's choice. Then, all of us as the party, we will get behind that candidate, and we will push them into November to victory. Boom. And really, it's that simple, you guys. We've got to take over the precincts. I've got a big job ahead of me, but that's okay. All I need from you guys is people that are willing to fill in these vacancies. I will go and circulate your petitions for you. I will go do all the work. I will do everything for you. All I need you to do is be a body to stand there and cast a vote. That's all I need you to do. So that is the Precinct project. That is our goal. That is our mission. That is what I will be working on. Now, down here in the 99th, this is my district right here. It's only made up of one county. Once I take 50% plus one of the precincts over in the 99th, whoever the sitting chair is at that time, you're out of there. Or in the words of Donald Trump, you're fired. Okay? They're fired. They're out. They're gone. Done. Out of there. Then we're going to put like-minded people in the chair. Somebody who does not agree that we wait in line and we wait our turns. Somebody who promotes primary competition. Primary competitions keep our candidates honest and do not allow them to become complacent. I see on Facebook all the time where we have people talking about, elected officials talking about, I can't believe I have a primary opponent. I can't believe I have a primary opponent. Why can't you believe you have a primary opponent? You should encourage it. What are you worried about? If you're such a good state representative and your people got your back like you say they do, and you've got the support of the people, then you have nothing to worry about. May the best man win. Encourage it. And I'm not saying you guys got to sit there and attack each other. You guys don't have to be rude and crude and run bashing campaigns against each other. Have fun with it. Run. Get out there. Who can bring the best message to the people? Who can reach the most people? You know, and we're not going to have the whole party apparatus, all the precinct committeemen working for one person. We'll have the precinct committeemen go out and circulate petitions for all the candidates. Okay? Equally. Equal. Right? So, this is my goal right here, the 99th district. Now, I do hear that maps are going to get changed next year. So, we'll see what happens. They're going to remap, and my district will probably be totally different in 2019. But that's okay. I'm prepared for it. I'll be watching. I'll be waiting. I'm doing my homework. I'm checking out my vacancies. I'm recruiting people in those vacancies, and they will be filled by people that live in those precincts that are elected by the people in the election. So that's the Precinct project, you guys. There's going to be a lot more of this coming in depth. So stay tuned. I'm not sure exactly what day I'm going to do this, but I'm trying to get on a weekly schedule to where I will bring you another episode of As Illinois Burns once a week. I'm thinking we're probably going to shoot for, we'll do Wednesday at 10 a.m. every week. Hump day, middle of the week, everybody wants to get through it. It'll give you a little bit of entertainment on your Wednesday morning, and maybe it'll give you a couple laughs, or who knows? Maybe you just sit back and laugh at me. That's fine. I don't care. As long as I brought some joy to your life, we're doing something right. So that is that, guys. That's the Precinct project. That's the gist of it. That's how they're choosing your candidates. This is how we stop that from happening. So I hope that made sense to you guys. I hope that made sense. If it didn't, anybody, feel free to get back a hold of me, ask more questions. If you're interested in becoming a precinct committeeman, get in my inbox. Let me get you added to my spreadsheet. This is how we are going to effectively restore the republic and stop the parties from choosing our candidates for us. So, that being said, March 20th, 2018, you got to get out. You got to get out. You got to get to the polls. And you got to write in STEVEN Westerfield. Not Western, not West, Westerfield. Westerfield. Just like it sounds. WESTERFIELD. So March 20th, get out there. Give the establishment the big middle finger. Write in Stephen Westerfield and tell them their days are numbered. It's over with. We're coming to take the keys back to the Republic. And after that, we're giving it back to the people. The people get to decide who their voice is going to be from here on out. Remember, March 20th, 2018, write-in candidate, Stephen Westerfield. People over politics. God bless you guys. I love you. Deuces.